class. How you doing? Welcome to Vector Illustration. My name is Michael Maldonado, and I will be your instructor for the next several weeks. So pretty standard stuff here in the start section. Getting started, read the syllabus, of course. References. Now, if you pop open that references, you'll see this course schedule right there. And if you open that course schedule, this is what you get. And that's cool. So if you want to download that and keep that handy, so you just have a finger on the pulse of where what's going on, where we've been, and where we're headed. It's a really good idea to do that. That way you can take a look at this week and next week at the same time. If you don't download it, it's okay, but I usually place this information in the weekly announcement anyway, so that you'll have an idea of what's due that week, so nothing will be sneaking up on you. Okay, let's go back to the class. Okay, so we have introductions, discussion. We have that, introduce yourselves, Q&A discussion board. One thing I want to mention about Q&A discussion board, now we have this over here, this messages area, and a lot of students use that, and that's great, but try not to use that area for questions pertaining to the class. You want to use this for any kind of Illustrator or any kind of class or course or assignment questions, because that way the whole class can benefit from the response. Do you see what I'm saying? So that way, there's a good chance your question might be in here already anyway. So be sure to use that as opposed to emailing questions. Be sure to keep in mind this is a public forum, so nothing personal in here. Okay, you don't want to talk about grades or health or anything like that in there. You keep that for this area over here where you contact me through the private message. All right, so week one overview. You want to go through that. Week one presentation. What is Illustrator, guys? What exactly is Illustrator? I think that you're going to read about what Illustrator is, but the one thing I want you to see is this right here. In a nutshell, what is Illustrator and when do we use it? What is this? This is raster. This is Photoshop. This is Vector. This is Illustrator. You will need to know the difference intimately. We can see, and if you've ever worked in Photoshop and you've blown up one of your images, you can see these little squares. Those are called pixels, and of course, that's how Photoshop creates images. These crisp lines are created using mathematical formulas, and these are crisp at any size. Photoshop, you can only see those squares when you enlarge the image, but if it's at the image at the destination size that is required and the proper resolution, you won't see that on screen or in print. But when you try to resize this, specifically try to make it bigger, you're going to get those little squares. You don't get that in Illustrator. That's why we create logos and illustrations, especially logos in Illustrator, because we can resize them without suffering any degradation. Okay, go through this. Here's some good examples of different logos and different Illustrator tools and techniques. Pretty important stuff. These are all the cool things you can do with Illustrator. Not all the cool things, just some of them. Okay, let's jump back to the class, and that's the presentation. Now, this presentation too, this is called Creating Shapes, and I'll jump over here. This is the Creating Shapes, and this is just, you read this, and I just want to give you a quick demonstration here, but this is really super important. We start the class showing you shapes because shapes are the most important thing that you'll work with in Illustrator. I know illustrators that don't use anything but shapes in Illustrator. It's true. All right, let me show you what I mean. Let's jump over into Illustrator, and the one thing I want to show you first is the pen tool. Okay, so this is the pen tool right here, and I'm going to show you that real quick, and let's get rid of those guys. Let's just put those guys over here for now, and then we'll take the pen tool. The pen tool is this tool right here, right there, okay? Don't confuse it with the curvature tool. That's the pen tool with the little squiggly line coming out. You want what's called the pen tool. Okay, so I got the pen tool. I'm going to move that. Now here's my pen tool. Right now, watch what happens if I just make points and click. They're straight. Let's get rid of those and let's start over. Now let's start this point, and to make a curved line, you want to come up and click. It's called click and drag. So you want to click and drag, click and drag. And you can find and you can see how Illustrator kind of gives you a little bit of a preview of where the line is going to go. Then you'll close that out by simply, okay? So that's a simple shape. That's a shape made with the pen tool. You also can make plenty of shapes with the polygon tool right here, the rectangle tool, or any of those, any of the shapes within that tool right there. And that is what, let's see, where was that? Is what this is talking about. Right down here with the different shapes. The pen tool and the rectangle tool with all the shapes within the rectangle tool. Okay, so why are shapes so important in Illustrator? And the reason is that just about everything is built in Illustrator using shapes. Let me show you what I mean real quick. I'm going to go back to Illustrator. Let's jump over here. I'm going to take my selection tool, get rid of that guy. And I want to take a look at these. Whoops, I didn't get rid of that whole thing. Let me do that. I wanted to get rid of that whole thing. So, and then we get this cool car and this cool rocket ship. And the really neat thing about this, about these, is that we can see that I'm going to just show you how these are built. As a matter of fact, if I look at that, those are just shapes. Every one of those are just little shapes that are combined. And same thing with the car. Look at the car. Okay, I could show you that again by just going Command Y, and you'll see all the little outlines that create this illustration and this illustration. The rest is just gradients and a couple of effects. Okay, so that's why shapes are so important, and that's why this first week, specifically this lesson, Presentation 2, Creating Shapes, is so important. Let's jump over to Presentation 3, the history of the poster. This is an interesting presentation, and it shows, the one thing that's really interesting about this is it gives you a very brief, and I say very brief, I mean a very brief history of poster, but it includes some really wonderful, wonderful stuff. And all of this stuff, folks, can be done in Illustrator. It wasn't originally, these are originally lithographs, but these can all be done in Illustrator. And we can see that down here, another historical set of posters that you can see can all be done using Illustrator. Okay, so be sure to see those. And of course, there's the infamous Obama Hope poster. Let's go back to the class and finish up this welcome announcement by just saying, oh, the way that this works is that you'll say your poster. Let's take a look at our poster project, and that's where we'll end things up here. I've had that open. What did I do with it? Sorry, I'm probably making you guys dizzy with this. All these windows opening and closing. But anyways, okay, so here's our poster project. So I'm just going to go real quick. All right, I don't want this to go over 9 or 10 minutes. So, all right, single-sided 18 by 24 portrait and orientation. That means 18 by 24. Typically in graphic design, the first number you see is the width. Okay, so this is telling you that width is 18 and the height is 24. Okay, so layout information and hierarchy, appropriate choices and typeface should be demonstrated. The poster should show use of design elements and principles. So everything you've been learning is going to be put in this poster. This should say 5 megabytes, not 5 milligrams. So the poster should be no more than 5 megabytes. And it won't, not using Illustrator, unless you start using gradients and raster effects in Illustrator. But you shouldn't really have to do that at all. And you know, we'll keep an eye on that. But anyways, here's the process. This week, you'll begin researching your subject and submitting your thumbnail. So what does that mean? It means you're going to research about the topic. Now listen, folks, excuse me one second. Excuse me. This is wide open. I mean, this can be a lot of fun. This will be a blast for you guys because the topic is wide open. There's pick your topic and go nuts, man. So this is really a great chance for you to show your creativity through your work and through your research. So anyways, you're going to research and learn about the topic you want to use by conducting an internet search, collecting examples of the poster art form. Once you have completed your research and decided on 3 different topics, write about the purpose of each idea for your poster design. Develop your content in order to communicate specific messages. So you're going to give you're going to give a written research on your poster. Then you're going to give your rough sketches. So after you develop your ideas, you're going to select 3 different topics, and then you're going to give 3 different rough sketches showing those 3 ideas for your poster topics. Okay, so you have 3 ideas, then you're going to sketch the 3 ideas, and you're going to sketch them at 4.5 by 6 inches. Okay, that's roughly a quarter of the size of the final destination. And then you're going to post your sketches to the discussion board. So I just want to make sure that you guys understand. Okay, so research. Learn about the topic you want to use by conducting an internet search. It's a good idea to take a look at historic examples of posters. Okay, and then decide on your 3 topics. Okay, let's say it's baseball, football, and basketball. I'm just pulling those out of the air. I know it's boring, and then I would write a purpose about each piece for my poster. So I would write, why am I doing a poster, and what's my intent for my baseball poster? What's my intent and objective for my basketball poster? What's my intent and objective for my football poster? Then I'm going to give rough sketches. 1 manual sketches, guys, manual. Okay, that means pencil to paper. All right, and that means I'm going to give you 3 manual sketches of my 3 ideas, meaning I'm going to give you a sketch of football, a sketch of baseball, a sketch of basketball. And those sketches need to be pretty well detailed. So as you can see down here, here's an example of a student sketch. So you can see that this student, for those of you who are history buffs, we can see this student is clearly using cubism as an inspiration, and you can clearly see a lot of different things. Here's a cup of coffee over here. Here's a hand holding an eyeglass, magnifying glass. Then over here it looks like a cannon and a lock, and then over here looks like a gun and a big letter F with the title over here. Okay, so it's very, very detailed is what I'm getting at. Okay, finally, these are what the typefaces that you're going to be using for the project. All right, I'm over 10 minutes, didn't want to do that, but I did want to give you a pretty thorough description of the class and what's going on. Also want to say something really quick about that. Where was that? Poster. Down here at the bottom of the poster where it says what typefaces you can use. Sorry, right here. Okay. This link right here, click it because it goes to this site right here, which is a really fantastic little tutorial on how to mix and what to consider while mixing typefaces. So please take a look at that. Okay, back to the classroom. There we have it. There's welcome to introduction, welcome to week 1. Listen, man, I'm a really, really super approachable instructor, and I'm here to help you succeed. And that's what I consider to be my strong point. So please, any problems, questions, concerns, anything, open door policy, get with me any time of day or night, and I'm no more than a few hours away. All right? Thanks, everyone. I'll see you in week 1.